Alright guys, Flave from Boxing Evolution TV, and I'm just joined here by Ben Doughty. For those of you on Facebook into boxing, I'm pretty sure most of you will know who you are, yeah? How are you, Ben?
I'm very good, mate. Yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. So, I believe you have decided to compete on a Queensbury Boxing League boxing match.
I have indeed. I was toying with the idea ever since I saw the league come out, and for some reason I wasn't quite making that step. I kept teasing Ross, saying I should do one. He said, well, you should, and you know where we are. One time, I even swear to God, I posted on Facebook a little, I really fancy a go on the Queensbury League or something like that. And they just happened to swing by the gym the next day, just passing, they said. And I didn't bite still. And they must be thinking, oh, come on, are you going to do it or aren't you? Then I phoned Ross about something else recently, then I mentioned it. He told me he had a show July 12th, and I was immediately sold on the date because, I don't know if you know, but when I made my first, what you might call comeback fight in New York in 2003, that date was July the 12th. I'm a little bit superstitious or numerological, and I thought it was meant to be, you know.
I mean, what's the motivation for it? Is it that part in every person who's done boxing that never dies, that love for boxing? Is that what it is? You wanting to get back in and taste the excitement again?
It's definitely there. I think what Rocky Balboa called that stuff in the basement, you know, all that's still left, but it's that, Matt. But the other thing it is, I really fancy the training again, because most boxers, they might miss the limelight if they ever had any limelight, or they might miss the ring lights on the occasion, but I think the other thing they miss is the training and the regimentation, because a lot of us, while you get some health freaks who are perfectly capable of training and being in wonderful shape and eating properly just as a matter of lifestyle, I think a lot of us fighters can never quite get that same edge and that same fitness that we get when we've got a fight and there's somebody coming to beat you, you know.
Well, I mean, I saw your other fight that you had not so long ago. I think it was about 6 months ago that you had.
February 2000. Why do I keep saying 2003? February this year, yeah.
And so, you know, it looked like you still had all your boxing skills and all your boxing movement together in that.
I hope so, yeah. I mean, obviously, as Bernard Hopkins once said, we all lose a few steps over the years. It's a question of having the wisdom to make the adjustments. But for my own part, even though I haven't boxed since March 2004, I have stayed constantly busy in the gym, sparring. For the first few years of retirement, sparring with good boxers, a few pros and good amateurs at Repton. For the last few years, I've just sparred with my clients. But at least it's allowed me to retain things like my shape and my kind of rhythm. Now I'll be obviously looking to step the sparring up a bit, because Freddie looks a little bit more serious than some of my clients I've got.
I was going to say that your last fight, I think it was just a charity and it was a bit of a move around, but Freddie Amolfo, I think he's coming to fight.
It's a different thing. I looked into his eyes today and I knew it was going to take that before I get truly serious. The really hard work starts here. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Half of me, I suppose, wonders if we're both mad. I think he's 43, I'm 44. There might be somebody to say, look, why are you doing this? But yeah, I think you already know why.
I think I understand why. And do you think he's going to pose much of a threat to you, Freddie?
I wouldn't like to comment on that at this stage, because I have never seen him box. I mean, Ross gave me a rundown of his last fight. I hear he was taking something of a beating, and then he heroically won with a kind of last chance saloon shot. So he's obviously a puncher. He can cancel out that. So I don't want to let anybody hit me. But if a guy's a puncher, perhaps, or even that little bit more defensively conscious, I'll be looking at him, and I will let you know. If you fancy another interview before the day, you're welcome to one. At the minute, I wouldn't like to comment on his ability or even his back catalogue, because I really don't know too much about him.
Now, I believe you're a British Boxing Board of Control licensed coach or trainer.
I am. It's something.
How do you think that comes into play with taking part in something like the Queensbury?
I'm really not sure, and I don't want to comment on it, because it's something I'm doing this because I want to do it. You know, and I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I'm not looking to kneel. I think they're a fine organisation, but I think they're the best in the world. I don't see a conflict of interest, and I don't want to discuss it endlessly for thus making the issue bigger than it needs to be. I love boxing. I love my role within that company that has been around since 1909. And I love the opportunity that I'm getting to do this. I think morally I'm sleeping soundly at night, and I hope I don't get any problems.
I mean, Queensbury Boxing League is something that's on the up, it's on the rise. You know, a lot of people are talking about it these days. I mean, where do you see it falling into? I mean, people talk about semi-pro boxing. Other people say that doesn't exist. It's not a category.
I think I said it, didn't I? And
I think you have said that yourself.
I'm a man of my word, and I am saying it right now. There's no such thing as a semi-pro boxer. You can either fight or you can't. But to be honest, I think there is the ABA and the other the other amateur bodies throughout the world, and the AIBA, you know, international body. There's a number of unaffiliated shows now. Some are better than others, more reputable than others. I think the Queensbury are filling a great gap in the market for people who don't, for the amateurs or the pros, is not a good fit. Certainly, it's a good forum for ex-fighters like myself of an age when I'm not going to kid myself and try boxing professionally now, and I don't think anybody aside from the Malta Commission will give me a licence anyway, and that's only because it's my mate Rio who works out of office, you know. So other than that, you know, I mean, I think Queensbury, what the important point they proved is that boxing is, while all that really matters is quality and good fights, it still proves that promotion is so important. The slickness and events management, the way they put on a show, and the glamour they bring to it is very important. I think that's what attracts a lot of boxers, you know. So I don't see them being a challenge to the board, and I don't see them being a great drain on the ABA's uptake either. I think they're a fantastic in-between for...
Do you not think they deserve a kind of category or area of their own?
Do you mean something like semi-pro, or at least some kind of categorisation? I'm going to have to think about that one, because I could never endorse semi-pro now I've come out against it. Unless I just wanted to admit I was wrong, of course. I don't think that's too likely, do you?
I mean, for me personally, I would say semi-pro is the category of boxers who want to get out there, they want to earn money from fighting. They're not quite at pro level, but the amateurs are probably more for the younger kind of people. You know, a bit like semi-pro footballing.
But it's true, but semi-pro football, I think, is a more legitimate term from what little I know of it, because I think they do get paid and all the rest of it. Well, although I know some people probably get paid. I haven't asked what the deal is financially. It shows you how purely motivated they are. I haven't even asked about kickback on the tickets or anything like that, but I assume there might be one. But no, I think the problem I've got with it, Matt, is to call Mario Kindelan and Teofilo Stevenson and Nick McTaggart amateurs, and to call some fella up in that ring now a semi-pro, there's something about that sense of scale which offends my value base. But I agree with you, we're going to have to come up with a good term for this type of league, and I'll be back with you on Monday.
I mean, there's certainly some very good boxers that are competing in the league, and there's people that have gone over to pro from the Queensbury, you know, so it's definitely not just purely, you know, low level novice.
You make the distinction, it's that they're cut above the general standard of, let's say, white collar. I think, like you just pointed out, it can be a good springboard for the pros. I mean, I had one kid called Craig Hardy, who I trained, who he hadn't boxed amateur for a couple of years, but he didn't want to box amateur again, and we felt he needed a run or two before he went to the pros, and he was a good ticket seller, and it was a perfect springboard for him, because he had 2 fights on the Queensbury League. He won one and lost one, but they're both very good fights. And for Craig Hardy, that was a nice springboard into the professional boxing, and I think that's very valid.
Okay, well, it's always interesting talking to you about boxing and related things, Ben. I wish you luck for your fight, and I'll wait for your further thoughts on this whole subject area.
Be lucky, yeah?
Okay, guys, Ben Doughty, he's taking part in the first boxing fight July the 12th. Flave for Boxing Evolution TV, over and out.